Hello there, my beautiful Taurus signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. So today's video is a traditional Celtic cross spread that I pull when it comes to tarot, and then I will dive into oracle cards, chakra cards, archetype cards, a bunch of decks that I have. I pull about 10 cards for you from my tarot deck, and then I pull about 8 cards from my oracle decks. So the current vibe I have for you, Taurus, is like kind of a melancholy energy. That's kind of what I was feeling when I was tapping into your vibe, your frequency. The song that I was guided to listen to was Death Bed, and it's the one that's like coffee for your head. So you might want to check that song out and those lyrics, but coffee might be a significant message for some of you, or just kind of a synchronicity or a sign that tells you like you're in the right spot. Maybe you're drinking coffee as you watch this. I don't really know. I actually have a tea, so I'm not sure how that resonates, but it might resonate for somebody. Now, Taurus, you're learning, you're moving forward, you're shifting in a positive way. I just feel like it's a lot of work, and it is divinely guided. You're right where you're meant to be, but I do feel like you've come a long way from where you were, and it is a lot to do with healing your heart center, healing negative maybe mindsets or opinions of that you held, maybe people held towards you or you had towards yourself. But I do feel like there's a big shift here happening, and yeah, so let's I could rant all day, but something about purple is significant. Purple, the color of the frequency, the vibration, amethyst, definitely. There's a lot of purple in this reading, and I'll show you the cards so you can see those. But purple is a very significant color. Violet, perhaps even. Wow. But there's a shift happening for you, and I'm drawn to like show you my amethyst stone. I'm not really sure why. I was talking about rose quartz on the last reading for Aries, but I didn't show them my crystal, the big one. I have like a tiny little rose quartz on my necklace, but there's a bigger crystal I have, and I didn't feel guided to show them that, but I felt guided to show you amethyst, so maybe that's a message. But yeah, let's dive into the tarot here. So right away, Taurus, your energy is Two of Wands. This is a portal. This is a plan. This is moving forward and making progress. But I don't know exactly where this is heading for you. But I do see that you're heading in the right direction because you have the Six of Swords. This is a card of moving forward and progress. But it's also a card of like going out of like choppy waters into calm seas. And the foundation of all of this is the King of Cups. So just remember that when I mention feminine or masculine energy in any reading, that it's fluid. So this could be your energy. This could be the person that you were involved with or you are involved with. It could be their energy. But the foundation of all of this is coming from a very masculine form of love. And when I say that, that just means, the King of Cups is like the tangible fruits of love. So it's like you're searching, or you really understand fully, I think, what it is that you need in the 3D realm to make your cup feel full, like your cup of love that we offer people. And sometimes we pour into others' cups without filling up our own cup, and that can leave us feeling really empty. But in the past here, you have the Hermit card, which tells me that you have been very introspective and self-reflective, and really had some come to clarity moments about self-awareness, and how sometimes we might find ourselves in relationships that aren't serving us because we maybe didn't value ourselves very much. And sometimes that's like a chipping away. It's like a slow drip, it's these things that happen gradually over time, where we're probably in some sort of relationship or friendship, and little by little that it can kind of etch us into something we're not if we allow it. And I feel like that's probably what has happened to you, because in your subconscious energy you have the Page of Cups. This was like a shadow work energy of almost like an immature. So maybe attracting immature partners or being an immature partner. And when I say immature, I don't mean that like, in a necessarily like a childish way. I mean that in like a attachment style way. So if you're not securely attached and coming from a place of a full cup, then you will probably be most likely an avoidantly attached, or an anxious attached style person. And usually when those things happen, we are drawn to people who have had similar trauma, that have not done the psychological healing yet, and that is usually what perpetuates some sort of cycle of abuse, or a cycle of repeating a similar trauma that we had maybe experienced before. And yeah, sometimes it's better to be alone than it is to be in those situations. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at, because you have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of being independent and single. And this is also a card of like putting a lot of time and effort into your work. So some of you might be really pursuing your work avenue at this time. And then you have in the near future the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is a card of study, or learning something new, maybe throwing yourself into a new hobby, or just reading a lot about Gnosticism, tarot, Ascended Master type of stuff. But when you dive into new hobbies and new things, you might learn something about yourself in the process. That's usually what happens. And then what's in your control here in the situation is the Ten of Swords. This is a bitter card, man. Like, this is a rough card. So this is like all the knives that people stabbed you in the back with. It's like, that is a lesson that you had to go through to learn that not everyone has your best interest in mind. And sometimes people might, sometimes people choose to perpetuate pain. And that's a choice. Love is also a choice. And I feel like that's where you're at. So if you are choosing love, which I believe you are, which I totally agree with, but I feel like if you're choosing love, then you're elevating yourself, because the choice that we typically have, the duality of this world, is you're choosing love or you're choosing fear. And I feel like because of all of these swords in your back, you're still somehow open-hearted and open-minded, but I don't feel like you're like a pushover. You're not like naive anymore. You're not just like taking someone's word for it. This is like, you actually know the boundaries, and the you understand how things need to be done and how progress needs to be made in order to have some sort of successful commitment. Now, how do people see you? They see you as the Queen of Wands, and actually the World came out first. So the World is like a card of closing cycles and closing chapters, and then the Queen of Wands is a card of like an independent, fiery energy of like somebody who's really like a go-getter, and they pursue their dreams and their passions. So to me, that's a very nice compliment. The Queen of Wands is one of my most favorite cards of the whole tarot deck. Like, there's 78 cards to choose from, and that one is by far my favorite. But to me, this is like the witchy card. It's like she's got a sunflower and a wand and a cat. So the hopes and fears category I have for you, Taurus, is Four of Wands. This is a card of commitment. This can be a card of like engagement. It doesn't have to like literally be engagement, but some of you might be getting engaged. It could be if you're not single. But I do feel like for a lot of you, it's like a commitment you're making to yourself. And I do feel like because you're making some sort of commitment that is tied to like self-respect and love, you are going to have some really nice fruits of your labor to show for that, because in your potential outcome, all three of these came flying out. And I don't usually take this many, but I was like, these are too good not to take. So the Three of Cups is a card of celebration. The Strength card is a card of like perseverance, basically, and then and strength, obviously. And then the last one is the Nine of Cups. It's like a wish granted. So it's like, because you're doing all this hard work, because you're celebrating yourself in the small successes, you have the strength and the perseverance to keep moving forward, to keep pushing through. You are going to have some sort of wish granted, some sort of happiness, some sort of wish fulfillment. And I do feel like that's going to be because you have really seen all aspects and you understand parts of yourself that maybe you didn't understand before, but it's because you went within and you did some sort of shadow work and some deep healing. And it's not like you do shadow work and it's one and done. Like, you're healing forever. You're healing on this whole journey that you're here in this lifetime. So I do feel like you're making a lot of progress. But that's what I have for you when it comes to the tarot, Taurus. And I'm going to dive into the oracle cards. But if you feel guided, make sure you smash the like button. It helps my channel grow. If something has resonated, it helps me know that this video helped you. And if you feel like you would like a personalized tarot reading, you can book that on my website. Or if you want a one-on-one coaching session to heal from trauma and practice and hone your intuition, then I can help you do that on my website as well. So let's dive right in. You have the Destroyer right off the top. I'm just going to take this is kind of like the rougher card of all of the cards. This is the archetype card, or excuse me, archetype deck by Kim Krans. The Destroyer, I just feel like, is a card of letting, like, heartbreak lets the light in. I think Rumi said that quote. Heartbreak lets the light in. So it's like the cracks let the light in. So when you go through heartbreak and devastation and betrayal and turmoil, sometimes that's the thing to really wake you up, because those tower moments come in, those people come in who are the betrayers, who are the Judases, to shake you up and get you out of something that was never serving you probably in the first place. And the Destroyer is like not only your nemesis, but it's like it's your best ally, because if it weren't for that person, if it weren't for that situation, it wouldn't have proved to you how strong you were. And I kind of hate when like spiritual gurus say like, oh, it'll make you stronger. It does, but it sucks. It's like a broken bone, okay? When it heals, it gets stronger because it's healed and it's added more, I don't know what the chemical compound is of a bone. Calcium structures to the surrounding bone. I'm not sure. But, you know, it is still a bittersweet gift. But you can also, if you've really done the healing, you can also find the blessing and the lesson of that relationship, of that person. Now, you have the Moon card that says, I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries for the future. And I feel like this has a lot to do with the faith. Purple again. Faith is being required right now. This is your third eye intuition. That's what the purple around this card symbolizes. So maybe some of you need to go out and get an amethyst crystal for protection or to help your third eye activate or cleanse. You can look at my videos about the pineal gland. If you're really trying to open your third eye, you can do so, usually through some meditative practices. But there's also some breathing techniques that can help your cerebral spinal fluid cleanse your pineal gland, which is your third eye crystal, essentially. And that can help you really connect to your higher self and to the different dimensions. And for those of you watching who are like, that sounds really strange, this is all scientifically proven. This is all science fact. And that's why I try to incorporate as much psychology and science into my readings as possible, because when I get like naysayers or people who are like, oh, this is taboo, this isn't real, this is like frou-frou hippie stuff, it's really not. Like, I've done so much research and so much reading, and maybe you need to do that for yourself here with the Hierophant card. So a great, if you're not a big book reader, a great source for a lot of occult, mystical style messages is the Gaia Network, the Gaia channel. I love that place. I spent many hours watching many documentaries and things like that. So that's very, very interesting. And I feel like you if you get on there, you should watch the one about Shakespeare. I know that sounds very strange, but it was like Shakespeare Decoded. That was very, very informative for me. But anyways, I'm like getting distracted. ADHD. So the next card I have for you about your third eye intuition is practice. So it says, sit with your body to truly work with your intuition. Do you have an odd or oppressing feeling that is telling you something, but you don't know what? To pay attention to any feelings and see where they lead you. Now, you could, again, I just feel like breath work is going to be important for you, because you have the breathe card here. And number 29 is what's on the top of this card. So breathe, hatha breathing, that's a type of like yoga style thing as well. But you can also do the Wim Hof method. There's like 9D, like the number 9 and the letter D breathing. That is also a popular thing. There's a couple different kind of avenues out there, but those are just some that I've read about. And the Wim Hof I have done personally, and that one does work pretty well for somatic healing and things like that. Now, the lesson I feel like you're learning in this cycle is ownership. So you acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike, and you learn to love them all as lessons. We are all human. Don't forget that, Taurus. sometimes, especially with earth sign, you take everything very, very personally, and it's not always that way, because sometimes we hold ourselves to such a high standard that it's really impossible to meet for anyone else to meet, let alone ourselves. So I do feel like you're maybe reevaluating what, not only your life choices, but like how you ended up here and why you made certain decisions. And when you can understand yourself and why you did what you did, then you can really truly forgive yourself. And that's also usually how you truly forgive someone else, is through understanding. So when you can find that, it's kind of going to leave you in a great state of gracefulness, essentially. And speaking of grace, you have the deer card. This might be your spirit animal. So if you've been seeing deer lately, that's another synchronicity or sign. So it says, bring gentleness and grace in every aspect of your life. It is deer hunting season, so I do feel like that's a synchronicity, at least for me. So, and I'm a Taurus moon, so that is very much so aligned for me. But that's what I have for you, Taurus. Hopefully this video helped. Again, if it did, please smash the like button. It helps my channel grow, and I will see you next time.